You were touching on some of the requirements and stuff for you to be interested in Jane's Addiction again. Here are some of the requirements for Mark Geiger. Is
Yeah.
is 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 um is he already in touch with the band at this point, or was he just in touch with the band back in the day? Um,
Oh, he has a relationship with Perry because they did Lollapalooza together.
okay.
Um, so
So
so he's in touch with he was in touch with Perry, I know. And I don't know about Dave and Steve. And I also don't know if he was talking to them. I think at least I think he told me that he approached me before he talked to anybody because he would just wanted to know whether or not I would be interested in doing it. Um, because there was not a ton of interest for another Jane's with just some other guy on bass again,
right.
another version of Strays. So, but I'm not certain, if he was talking to anyone else about this, but
So did you take it as if he was speaking for Perry, or if he's just come up with this idea on his own? And
I got the impression that this was his idea, but that and maybe this was a presumption, but I was under the impression though that it was a foregone conclusion that the guys would want to do it,
yeah,
um, because especially when we started actually having meetings, I had no idea the crazy amounts of money that were being talked about, being thrown around. So I think that, you know, I mean,
it makes sense for them to keep playing those same 27 songs over and over again for tour money, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah, yeah. But it's, you can only do that so much. I mean, every time you do that, your brand is tarnished, and so your price point is lower, and that was definitely going on for James then.
So for you, some of the key requirements were no other Jane's Addiction. This should just be the only one. We should have a quiet time. You wanted to write songs. You wanted new material, right?
Hmm.
Or some of the other specific things that just had to be met, or you weren't interested.
Um, well, I think we both agreed that I couldn't be the guy running interference on Perry, because it would go south, on a political, personal level. Um, so um, so that was a thought, and also these were not like, well, I initially thought that I was going to be able to get a bunch of these things
Yeah.
because I could always walk away from it, and I would just be the same guy that I've been all these years. Um, but as it turned out, I mean, just in that way that life is a little messier usually than you think it's going to be. It sort of defies being neatly wrapped up. These things all wound up being sort of like the opening salvos of a negotiation, more so than demands or requirements. Um, so as I started the dialogue, and these things were some of the things were told to me were gonna go away, didn't wind up going away.
Right.
Like the Perry DJ Peretz doing versions of Jane's Addiction while Jane's Addiction is trying to do Jane's Addiction. Um, uh,
Yeah.
I was told that was going to go away, and it never did. And to a really bad degree too during the pre-production for the recording sessions.
Yeah.
That guy was just absent doing. He was in Aspen and who knows where else, Ibiza or something.
Yeah.
So, but so some of the things, I was told were gonna eventually come true. Well, he's just doing this, he's got to do that, but you know, and and I thought that my lawyer was going to be the lawyer, and I thought we would have different management, and it wound up being Perry's management, and so there were all these. I was already sort of, looking at it like a negotiation, at the beginning in terms of like this is like what I'd shoot for if I could just like, if I could wave a magic wand, this is what I would want for Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
And all the while too knowing that um, Perry has a really fragile ego, and so if I, say I think it should be this, then it'll be perceived as me trying to make a play for power or something or whatever. Anyway, so I
Yeah.
was also aware of that, and everyone was sort of aware of that, and so so I acquiesced, and we went with his management, which wound up being you know not a great idea in the end because you know
Yeah.
they were obviously didn't want to upset their new client and stuff, and so
So do you feel like you're making these requests? Do you feel like at any point, um, if you don't say, okay, we'll use Perry's management, that it's over? Or you feel like I just want to give some, so maybe he'll give back? Or is it kind of like that deal?
um well, I never had like I never it was sort of the same thing as the going doing the Metallica day. Same thing going and working with Corrigan for a little while. Um, like I just sort of had this like it'll be an experience. Who knows if it'll last for 3 days? So I think with the Janes thing, I didn't think that there was a good chance that it was going to have longevity. So I didn't. I was trying to do the best I could to sort of make it happen, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't ever have the sense like, oh, I have to do this or else it'll go away.
Okay.
Because I just assumed it was going to. Like um, yeah, like right up until before even actually went on tour, I was thinking this is gonna all fall apart. Because I mean, it really, it almost fell apart before we did even one show because in retrospect, I made the tactical mistake of pushing hard to get songs written first,
Right.
and of course stepped on Perry's toes somehow, and he got his undies in a twist, and and at that point I was just being straight with him,
Yeah.
the way that I am with every other human I come across. And and it turned into him wanting to scuttle the whole thing and all that, and
So
so then people tried to make it the case to me that maybe we pushed the new material thing too soon, too hard, and that maybe we'll get out and get some shows going, and some goodwill will happen, and some will remind Perry of what how good it feels to be in front of something that matters, and then we'll come back to the writing thing. And so I saw the wisdom of that, and I thought, okay, so
yeah.
so be it.